Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, apologies that you're all packed in like this. I assure you, once we get to the planning application, we'll bring you in separately, because you can see the size of the chamber only caters for about 40 people, so I do apologise. One of the reasons I brought you all in, there is some confidential business which the council has to deal with this evening, and that's not a part 2 business. So I will go through part of the agenda first. When we dealt with that, and the council will deal with part 2, unfortunately I'll have to ask you all to leave because it is confidential business. Once we've dealt with that, and we'll do it as quickly as possible, then I'll invite you all back in groups and we'll deal as quick as we can with your application. So please accept our apologies for the cramped conditions. Yeah. Okay, so council will open the meeting with a welcome from myself. I'm Councillor Tony McCarthy and I shall be chairing the meeting. Around the table with me are ward councillors, senior officers from the council's planning department, a senior officer from highways, a senior officer from the council's environmental and health department, a senior officer from the legal department, and we're also joined by one of our senior directors, Mr. Andy Farrell. So I'll begin by asking everybody to introduce themselves to you. Councillor Bowler, you begin please.
Good evening everyone, my name is Councillor Bob Barr and I represent Lynn.
Good evening, I'm Celia Jordan, Councillor for Stockton Heath.
Les Morgan, Councillor for Latchford West.
Andy Heaver, Councillor for Great Sankey North.
Good evening everyone, Faisal Rashid, Whittle Hall.
Good evening, I'm Councillor Lawrence Murphy. Councillor Jeff Richards.
Jenny Cardwell, Democratic Services.
My name is Paul Clisby and I'm a solicitor at the council and here to advise or give legal advice.
My name is Daniel Hartley, I'm the Development Manager.
Andrew McLaren, Senior Planning Officer.
Christine Carruthers, Senior Planning Officer.
Declan Cleary, Senior Planning Officer.
Andy Farrell, Executive Director.
Andrew Burrows, Highways.
Joanne Mullally, Environmental Protection.
Thank you, colleagues. I understand that one of our female colleagues explained to you about the housekeeping in event of fire and where the facilities are, yes? Thank you, councillors. Are we ready to move on, please? Time for the time. So we're going to take item 1 and 2 together for discussion, but we'll vote on them separately. Item 1 is the land within Warrington Town Centre, between Academy Street, Way and Bank Street, Dolmans Lane, Union Street and Horrocks Lane. Large-scale proposed demolition of existing site buildings and structures, and this the rest you can read yourself in the application. And secondly, is again major land permission for deals of access, proposed demolition of existing on-site buildings and structures. You can provide a new market hall, A1 retail uses, Class A2 parks and professional services, restaurants, cafe, and I bring the library, and I believe a multi-complex cinema. So we site visited that on Friday last. Christine, would you like to give us an update, please, on those applications?
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to refer you to the update report, and in that report you'll find a list of revised conditions which supersede the conditions in the reports that you have before you. We've revisited the conditions to ensure that development can proceed in a phased manner. And also, the conditions have been amended to allow certain works to commence, such as site setup works, hoardings, etc., to be implemented without the need to discharge certain conditions. I also draw your attention to, under application 24470, which is the full application for demolition. There's an error in the description of development. It refers to the plan number as being a C revision. It refers it to be as an A revision when it should be a C revision. Also in the report, under phase 1 demolition, it refers to 33 Bridge Street, not 35 Bridge Street. It should refer to 33. In application 24473, which is the outline application, we've added a condition relating to the servicing yard adjacent to the Friends Meeting House. We've asked for a restriction on hours of operation, size of vehicles and a number of movements because of proximity of residential accommodation. And conditions 3 and condition 26 on that application, we've modified the air quality assessment requirements. Condition 26 refers specifically to the energy centre, the details of which we don't have yet. And condition 3 refers to the rest of the development. Also an amendment to condition 18 to delete the first 2 plan numbers which refer to the demolition scheme.
Thank you very much, Christian. I have a Mr. Philip Grant, who wishes to speak on both of these two particulars.
Yes.
Please. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Yeah, a comprehensive report has been put together by officers which addresses all of the relevant matters in detail. Both applications are recommended for approval, therefore I just want to make a few short points. The Fridge Street quarters an unloved part of the town centre which has faced many difficulties over the past few years. There's long since been a priority for regeneration. These planning applications represent the culmination of several years of work by the applicant and its team of consultants, including an extensive programme of consultation with the local community and other key stakeholders. Council has been keen to replace some of the current users on site with a more family-friendly offer, and this scheme would do exactly that. The development would create a new leisure, restaurant and shopping experience for Warrington, which would be a fantastic asset for the town for many years to come. The new market hall would be a superb new venue for the town's market traders and would preserve and improve the relativity facade of the former Boots building. The scheme would feature new buildings of the highest design quality, a new public square and new landscaping. The council offices will provide modern commercial floor space which would help re-establish the town centre as an important employment location. Lots of new jobs created for local people, both during construction and following completion of the development. The proposal would provide a big boost to the area and would help the town centre to compete effectively with existing out-of-town facilities which currently draw many people away from Warrington. The site is well located in terms of public transport, and the development would improve pedestrian connections both within the site and throughout the town centre more generally. An environmental impact assessment has been undertaken which demonstrates there would be no unacceptable impacts on the site or in the surrounding area. Overall, the proposals would deliver successful new mixed-use quality within the town centre, which would reflect the aspirations of the council and which would have a lasting positive influence on the regeneration of the borough as a whole. The applications are called fully with planning policy at the national and local level, and we firmly believe they merit approval. The full application for demolition and remediation, as you suggested, has been submitted alongside the main outline application purely to allow work to start on site as soon as possible, whilst detailed designs are being drawn up. The scheme architect, Dave Long, of Leitrim of the Walk, is present to deal any design-related queries about either application. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Is there any questions by the invite back to Councillors? Yes, Councillor.
I'm not quite sure who I'm addressing this one to, but I'm looking forward to the development and very much in favour of it. The only question is, do we have any provision or do we have a one-stop shop for any complaints or issues that residents and locals around there might have during the construction phase?
Would that be yourself who would provide that facility?
I'm sure that's a facility that we'll be capable of providing, yes.
Yes, Councillor Jung. Yes, stay there, Mr. Grant. I would stay there so we can continue going back into it.
Yes. Did I mishear? I didn't hear you say cinema. Is there going to be provision for a cinema?
Yes, a cinema is part of the...
and it would be multiplex?
That's correct.
Right. I mean, it's badly needed in the town centre, Chair, because people have grumbled, especially young people, having to get possibly 2 buses out to Westbrook, so it would be badly needed. But can I bang on again about what I've been on for, I don't know, 20 odd years I've been on this council? At what stage do we ask the cinema developer to allow one of his spaces to be flexible enough to be a theatre? I.e. it will have a screen normally, but when people want to put a play on or a different kind of entertainment, it would be possible and it would be supported financially by the normal business of the cinema. At what point can we try and put some pressure on about that, please?
Mr. Farrell, you signify you wish to speak on that?
Only because when the cinema operator has been firmed and chosen, which will be hopefully in the next couple of months. The issue at the end of the day is this is a commercial cinema. There's a question, and it can only be through discussions with the cinema operator, whether a theatre, as you suggest, would mix very well with a commercial cinema or not. And there's a question whether, if that is a requirement the council has within the town centre, should the onus be put on the cinema operator to provide it, or should the council look at its own provision for it? So there's some question marks. But that can only be answered through discussion with the cinema operator.
Yes, Councillor.
Thank you, Andy. I'm going to come back on this and get my thoughts straight. So many people in Warrington want a theatre, and we'll never get one supported financially by this council, or not in my lifetime, and maybe other people's. What I'm talking about is not taking a whole space from the multiplex cinema, but having one of the spaces, if it's 9 or 5 or 15 or whatever, being flexible enough, i.e. deep enough, to take a stage show with wings and flies and all those things when it was needed. It would normally make just as much money, it would have the seating, it would have the lighting, it would have all the safety regs that the cinema space needs, but it would be flexible.
Chair?
Yes, Mr. Farrell?
The application before you is for a cinema, not a cinema theatre. You can only make a decision based upon what's in front of you rather than what you'd like. However, if when the cinema operator is selected, we choose to have that discussion, now that's another issue. The application in front of you is for a cinema.
That's just the seeds I'm showing.
I think Councillor, we can really request at this time is when the negotiations take place, let's sort of sympathetic to the request. They can lose.
Scattered these seeds to I'll go on scattering.
Okay, thanks very much. Okay, yes, Councillor Richards, yes.
I'll just say a point along the lines of the Councillor Eva. When the Golden Square was being constructed, the executive member from this authority, in this case now he's Councillor Ann, and it was me at the time, met on a regular weekly basis with the developer and the builder and all the rest of them, and they outlined anything, because there's lots of different people involved on this stage. The town centre board, the market traders, these are the regular people he meets with on a regular basis, and the residents of the town centre, surely myself and our local councillors, we meet with them, and if we take on board that. So there's plenty of opportunity there to feed into it, but the offer that's on the table of a one-stop shop I think is a very good idea. So yeah, I would support that.
Anyone else wish to speak? If not, yes, Councillor Barrett.
I'm very pleased to see this coming forward. It's been a very long time coming, and it's very nice to finally see it coming to this stage. A couple of facts. One of the problems is that when you put together a scheme like this, it's a fixed point in what's a moving target. Originally, I understood we were hoping to get most council employees into offices on the town centre site. I now understand that there will not be enough office space for council employees within the town centre development at the moment. And the second issue is the issue of the relationship between the town centre and residential. There's no request for residences here, but however, when this scheme was put to an open meeting of councillors a few months ago, prior to the application, the applicants did say that if circumstances change, at that stage there was no market for town centre residential accommodation, and now such a market is developing. My question really is, we can approve this tonight, is this what we're going to get, or are there going to be amendments coming back to this committee as circumstances change?
Mr. Farrell, take a question, please.
I think this is a significant and a large scheme, and the scheme will develop. and indeed there will be further detailed design reserve matters, another issue. So I wouldn't put it beyond the wit that there will be amendments, and that's expected actually in terms of a large complex scheme, and maybe even amendments as we're constructing it, as it's being constructed, because again it's a complex scheme with some complex buildings on it, the Market Hall, with its undercroft, etc. So there could be some amendments, but it'll come through the right process, I assure you of that one. The second part of the question was
accommodating councillors.
the accommodation of council officers from the work that's been undertaken. The application as you've got before you would take all the planned officers required. So it is large enough. There was discussion about the height. This has the height required. So that isn't an issue. In terms of residential, this scheme is part of in broad sense, a two-phase development. This is north of Academy Way. Of course, the original Bridge Street Quarter complex has a second phase to the south of Academy Way. So you can't fit everything on north of Academy Way. The area to the south is still being developed, and we'll look at all possible uses, and residential could be one of those uses.
That's helpful, thank you very much.
Anybody got any questions? If not, let's just start putting it then to the vote. I'll take item 1 first, which is application 24470. Somebody prepared to move?
Move it, Chairman, with the updated 1,001 different numbers that Christine quoted, and I can't remember all of them.
So it's been moved with that new update from Christine. Is that seconded? So therefore put that to the vote. All those in favour, please show. Anyone again? That is approved. So the second one, which is application 24473.
And again, Chair, I'll move that, and if there was any amended updates on that particular application, those included.
That's seconded. Thank you, Les. So that to the vote. Those in favour, please show. And against, application is approved. Thank you.